Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week at everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news markets are waiting for the next US Fed decision. The Fed is about to start a meeting that is widely expected to bring a rate rise on Thursday. But the US President is tweeting aggressively against the move. In Canada, the volume of home sales fell for the third month in a row in November. They are now 12% lower than in November 2017. Listings are down, and the national average sale price also fell by 2.9% from a year ago. In Toronto and Montreal, average prices rose modestly. In Vancouver, they fell modestly, although that was to their biggest drop in a decade. In the EU, inflation is falling, now down to under 2% in November in the Eurozone and just on 2% in the wider EU. This is despite energy prices being 9.1% higher than a year ago, although that element is now fading. And the more it does, the lower their CPI growth will become. And the EU has told the UK that there will be no more meetings to explore revising the Brexit deal. In Malaysia, prosecutors are filing criminal charges against Goldman Sachs and 4 people involved in the $6.5 billion bond issue by State Fund 1MDB, as it attempts to recover about $3.3 billion that was allegedly swindled. Goldman Sachs earned about $600 million in these 2012 deals, but prosecutors also want them to pay for the thefts by the then-ruling family members of the Malaysian government. Indonesia is facing renewed stress as its trade deficit balloons. Their trade deficit reached almost $2.1 billion in November, its deepest monthly result in more than 5 years. In China, they're starting to worry about the rise in food inflation as they grapple with the African swine fever outbreak that is spreading quickly in their pig farms. In Australia, the federal government released their half-year fiscal update showing that there is fast rising tax revenues. A surge in mining industry profits and tax revenue has boosted Commonwealth coffers, and that will allow them to forecast a bigger-than-expected surplus next year. And next year is election year, with a poll expected in May. Yesterday, equity markets in the Far East were a little changed, although Tokyo did manage a 0.6% daily gain and Australia managed a 1% gain on their strong mid-year economic forecast. Overnight, EU bourses were quite weak, with losses of about 1% in most major markets. US Treasury 10-year yield is now at 2.86%, down 4 basis points. Their 2-10 curve is unchanged, it's just under 16 basis points. Gold has regained some ground, is now at $1,244 an ounce, a $6 rise today. US oil prices are down again by almost $1, at just over $50 a barrel. The Brent benchmark is now just under $60 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar is starting today unchanged from this time yesterday at 68 US cents. And the cross rates were also unchanged at 94.7 Aussie cents and 60 euro cents. That leaves the TWI at 72.7. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.